All right, we should be on the air. A little bit later than usual. We had some things going on in my life this afternoon. Should be on session 6 here. I wanted to make sure that's right. Yeah, starting late. Kind of balances out starting so early the past couple weeks. But we're here now at 7 o'clock Pacific time. And I don't know how strong attendance will be here at this somewhat late hour. I know it's a bit late for the United States East Coast and ungodly for basically anyone on the other side of Atlantic. But hey, we'll do what we can. So in this session, I wanted to make our way over to the to Fuchsia City, and this is kind of a section of the game, a section of the region, I should say, that I somewhat dread whenever I'm doing a playthrough of Kanto, because it really is just a route with or 2 routes, 3 routes, I don't know how many routes, a route section with just a butt ton of trainers and not a whole lot else going on. So I am going to rely on my viewing audience to hopefully give me something a little bit interesting to talk about. I thought this guy would fight me with the slowpoke. But yeah, we got a Silence Bridge, which is, you know, it's got fissures and stuff. And then we've got whatever the route number leading up to Fuchsia is. And the only interesting thing there is that there's something of a maze of fences. Howdy, Soulite, good to see you here. I am curious how Koga will go. I imagine some King Pun will do some heavy lifting. I didn't even know this guy had an Electabuzz. I assumed he was a bird trainer. Whatever those are called. He does significantly outlevel me. Yes, Sabrina will also be tricky. Although I hope that Gastrodon will be like fast enough to outspeed most of her Pokemon. Oh no. Good to see you, Sean, by the way. I'm hoping Gastrodon outspeeds most of Sabrina, because Gastrodon can probably one-shot most of her, but I don't know if we'll be able to outspeed some of the rather speedy members of her team. I think I'm going to, well, Koga needs the 50 different species caught, right? So I was going to save that for last, but Sabrina I might need to save for last, so I get as much experience as possible. Man, already busting out the revives. Oh, I need to buy some revives. Okay, not going to buy them right now, but next time I need to retreat all the way back to the Pokemon Center, I will buy some revives. I have several, my good lad. Not using them yet. Alright, this should be positively doable. Rude. He's another one of these guys. Okay. Also rude. So what's happening out there in stream viewer land? What's new? What's hip? I should be able to one-shot him with finish him off with double kick, right? I know it's resisted, but should be okay. Alright. Like I was saying, this is basically... I don't know how long this is going to take, but these two routes are very much just a lot of trainers. Seattle is no longer snowing. Thank goodness, frankly. Oh, I hope this thing doesn't have dig or something. No, snow... It kind of stopped coming down 2 weeks ago, but it just lasted and stuck around for another week there. Also, that was during my midwinter break, so... Oh, so close to one-shots. That's frustrating. But no, Seattle is back to its usual self. It's actually been a little bit sunny recently. I got into my car after work today, and it was warm, which is messed up and weird. That's good. I like it. I think we might still be getting snow in, like, the mountain passes, but Seattle itself is fine. Portland, apparently, is now undergoing its snowmageddon. The snow passed over Portland for the most part last time around, but now it's closing schools down in Portland. I still get alerts on my phone about the districts I have worked for before, back when I was down in Portland. And it's like, oh hey, they got late starts, they got some cancellations. Amazing. Super flying. I don't know if bugs resist electricity, but I don't care for that, Butterfree. Yakuza is a game, Sean, that I want to play, and I got, I think it was Yakuza Kiwami when you're playing. That was a PlayStation Plus game a while back, right? So I have that. It's just my concern with it. Same reason I'm not really playing through The Witcher 3 right now, even though I have it, is that, you know, it's a game that I feel like deserves and necessitates my attention. Because it's got a lot of creative and clever writing. Eat shit, Butterfree, I hate you. And that's just not the game that I'm looking for in my brain right now. Definitely, I've definitely been wondering if I should pick up Zero before playing Kiwami, even though I have Kiwami already, and it's like, oh, it's another more small chunk of money, a little bit of chunk of change. Yeah, there we go. Okay. It's interesting that you say it's effectively an expansion pack to Zero, considering it's the remake of the original game. I don't care for this at all. But yeah, I feel like I want, and there's, you know, this might be a nerdy part of me, I feel like I want to start from the beginning, even though the beginning is a prequel, and Kiwami definitely would make sense on its own. How many PP does this have? 10? Using up all my awakenings. And when I go back and buy more, I won't need any of them. Okay, Kiwami, add stuff that connects to Zero. That is good to know. That is an incentive to play Zero first, then, for sure. Oops, sorry. Bumped the table with my foot. Yeah, apparently, like, you know, Yakuza has been secretly this extremely good, I've got full heals, okay, never mind. This extremely good hidden gem of a series that just never really made a big splash in the West until recently. But again, my concern, and Sean, maybe you can alleviate my concerns, it seems like a game that you want to pay attention to in order to appreciate. Oh, but I need to remember... Fair resist fighting, right? Oh my gosh. This is your whole thing. Okay, alright. So Kiwami could have a little bit of spoiler-ish for Zero. This is just her whole thing. If I get in this toxic, at least if it ends up being nonsense forever here, eventually it'll die from poison if I can get this toxic in. Howdy, Harsh. Good to see ya. Sing has really bad accuracy, by the way. Just to be clear. I want everyone to be aware of that. It has, I believe, lower accuracy than Sleep Powder. I want to say it's like 55. Maybe I'm mixing that up with Supersonic. But I just want everyone to be aware that its accuracy is not particularly good. Like, I mentioned this, I think, in an earlier session of this stream, was that I'm pretty sure, I might have been referring to Confusion at the time, but I'm pretty sure, like, the accuracy on a lot of status-inflicting moves is raised for the opponent. And I stand by that. I don't think it's a matter of luck. I genuinely think it's something programmed in. Yeah, I mean, and also at least they have limited PP. Okay, with a lot of luck I could dig. Nope. If I dug, I could have wasted another Sing. Not taken any damage, I've just used a whole bunch of items. So like, if this were a game that more heavily like focused on clever use of items like other RPGs, I might be okay with an encounter like this, but as it stands, especially since we don't have like abilities like Insomnia or anything, I really think this is just a dick move by the game. Because you'll note, exactly one of those Sings missed. Exactly one. Feels bad. Okay, we're getting close to some of the more interesting, or the final level up moves that I'm looking for. Valerie's at 36. The Nidos are at 39. Okay. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm pretty sure I used 18 status items there. Absurd. Also, good to see you, Hedgie. I don't know if I said hi. Hello. Yes, Battle Frontier AI absolutely cheats. Oh, speaking of absurd, here's a Farfetch'd. I specifically recall back when I gave any sort of semblance of a shit about Battle Tower, people on Game FAQs talking about, like, one particular Crawdaunt or something in Gen 4 that was just incredibly rude and got absurd luck with its one-hit KO moves. God, we're already 17 minutes into the stream, and I'll bet 10 minutes of that was trying to wake up from sleep. But man, looking at the levels, pretty consistently up to like 36, 37, 38 here. Do we, I'm wondering if Cycling Road is any higher or lower. So we could do either of them right now. But I don't know. Heck, who knows? Maybe I'll actually get some decent experience from these slightly higher leveled creatures. I feel like, Hedgie, if we're looking for interesting and creative and unique, what we really want is to bring back rotation battles. Bring back rotation battles, cowards. Let's see what happens. Unfortunately, everyone is weak to Earthquake, I believe. Oh, not very effective. Good to know. And I don't have any Ice Beam yet, so... Oh, Golbam is immune to Earthquake. That's what's up. That's what we can do. Man, are there even rotation battles in the post-game of any games since Gen 5? Because I don't remember any. Maybe I didn't look hard enough. Don't be mad, Norris. Gastrodon is excellent. Okay, I know I thought I remembered triples in, like, your secret bases in Oras. I didn't remember any... And I guess rotation battles you could do. But I don't remember any on the overworld or anything. Okay, Battle Cafe. Maybe I need to go back to the Battle Cafe or something. This could get rough. But I'm going to try to go as far as I can before I go back to heal and buy revives. I swear, if you start singing to me, kick your ass. Now, I don't remember if Fairy resists fighting, so I'm just going to give this a try. Yeah, it does. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I can see why Sun and Moon would drop things to avoid lag. On the other hand, the games themselves are just laggy at pretty much all times, so I guess they were cutting their losses. I still think Emerald did double battles the best, where you would often, if you were clever, have the option to turn a double battle into a single battle, or vice versa. It just seems like the Game Freak's general ethos is to drop ideas. Hey, that actually went quickly. Amazing! They might have had some in Platinum also. I haven't spent as much time with Platinum as some other games. Yeah, but I will also say Emerald did it a lot more often. There are more opportunities for you to do something like that. Notably, because I can remember them in Emerald, and I do not remember them in Platinum. And, you know, my memory is infallible, so... Yeah, Colosseum built a game around this alternate battle system and gave you a lot of cool stuff to do and work with. I want to play it again. Put it on Virtual Console. Come on. I remember when I did XD, and I, caught every Shadow Pokemon on the first try, and I did that for the final boss. People were like surprised. I thought that's how you were supposed to play the game. I never even considered making multiple attempts. Yeah, and so, I mean, if we're talking about dropping things in new games and or possibly pandering to Gen 1 people, we did have the first trailer for the Generation 8 games. What's the vibe from people in the chat? No rock-type moves. Yeah, that was a concern I had about the GameCube games possibly being slow. Okay, I'm seeing positivity with qualifications. Looks cool, but I'm probably easy to please. Looks promising, but far too early to make many judgments. Looks better than I thought it would be graphics-wise, but I hope for at least Dragon Quest levels. I'm not sure we can quite fairly compare it to Dragon Quest yet, because we haven't seen like the final version of Dragon Quest XI on Switch yet. We've only seen a trailer. But I mean, I think it still looks pretty good. It looks about as good as, or slightly better, I would say, than Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Is Leech Life good now? Yeah, it's actually good now. I think we're gonna replace Swift. Yeah, it definitely has a Kalos vibe, I would believe. I believe that. Norris, you have the incorrect opinion. I'm sorry, you're wrong. When I was watching the trailer, and if people haven't seen the trailer, I'm gonna talk about the trailer a little bit here, so prepare yourself. you know, and they were introducing the starters, I was like, ah, that's the one for normies. And I still hold that opinion. I mean, you do you, obviously, you know, you do you. Pick your favorites. But if your favorite is Scorbunny, you're a normie and wrong. Yeah, I mean, I don't love any of them yet. I'm gonna hold final judgment until, you know, we see their full evolutionary lines. As of right now, I'm Sobble Squad. Grookey's fine. Scorbunny is for normies. Yeah, no, I'm being deliberately incendiary to be provoking. But when I was looking at like Scorbunny's art, I couldn't help be like, this feels like Pokemon we've seen before, but I can't place which. And then I looked at the feet more. I was like, oh, those are Meowth's feet. And then someone pointed out that it has the exact same facial expression as Chespin does in its official art, and it's in the exact same pose as Chimchar is in its official art. And I was like, that's why it kind of feels like the normie one, because it's reminiscent of so many previous designs. Yeah, I mean, Chespin is my favorite of the Gen 6 starters. Don't get me wrong. It's the best of the three. But seeing it again makes Scorbunny feel a little bit, you know, redundant, repetitive. This could be tricky. I might want to... I don't have revives! Oh, I was going to say, I might want to revive some King Pun, but I don't have any. Let's try to get some strong hits off here. Yeah, Scorbunny, like, I can admire the craft that went into the name Scorbunny, because it's both Scorch, as in fire, and Score, as in score a goal in soccer. But it just feels a little clunky despite that dual meaning. Grookey, the pun doesn't really come across, which is also, you know, a problem on its own right. Oh, we're gonna lose this fight, aren't we? Yeah. Well. Yeah, and I mean, definitely hold final opinions, hold your thoughts until the full evolutionary line is revealed. For sure. Because, I mean, we could be proven correct, and, you know, Poplio was the best of Gen 7 from the get-go, and the evolutions proved that. But who knows? Scorbunny could turn into something really interesting and unique. And I am really curious to see what Grookey turns into. Yeah, and you raise a good point there, Norris. It feels like it's possible they recognized the fan following that Poplio got, and they're trying to really lean into that for Sobble. That thought crossed my mind, definitely. It is still the best, though, right now. Yeah, I've never been super on board with the Fennekin line, even from the Fennekin stage, just because I don't like the tufts of hair in the ear. That's just a design element that I don't really care for. And I know that's like the animal, but I still don't really like the look. And then I was looking at like the final stages of the Gen 6 starters, and I was like, man, Chestnut that's my aesthetic. The bulky, spiky look. That's kind of what I lean into these days. Sith, good to see you. Glad you could make it. Is that a wild Kingler? Hello. Alright. I've already forgotten what this fine lady had. Yeah, we'll lead with Snack. Yeah. I'm gonna save some King Punch for when the Golduck comes out. Try to get a Thunderbolt in. Raticate, I can deal with Raticate. Yeah, I think I'm considering... I'm not sure if I'm gonna go through with it. I'm considering a trailer blackout for this generation, because their marketing for Sun and Moon was, let's show every new Pokemon except for Marini for some reason. And it left absolutely no surprises in the game itself, and I don't want that to happen again. I do still really want to see the evolved forms of the starters, though. Could really use a stronger fighting move, but I don't know if I'm gonna get one. Yeah. Yeah, it's it's hard to avoid Pokemon spoilers, that's the thing. Like, even if I don't watch the trailers, there'll probably be some stupid meme that shows me some stuff. Oh, frickin' Bellary could probably be a good backup if Thunderbolt doesn't work. I didn't buy No, I did. I did buy Revives. I was about to get angry at myself for forgetting to buy Revives, but I bought Revives. Yeah, Smash is tough to avoid too. Luckily, I don't really care about Smash, so I'm not too worried about having it spoiled. So, Sith, you know, you may recall, or maybe this was before your time, I don't think it was though, that I basically completely avoided any and all materials for Black and White before they came out. I did for Platinum also, but Platinum's a remake. And Black and White are my favorite Pokemon games, I think. So, like, part of that is it was 150 new Pokemon, so there was still a lot of freshness there, which 6th and 7th gens have lacked. But I really do think that element of the unexpected affects at least how well I enjoy Pokemon games. Let's see. Yeah, that was still a pretty devastating fight. Let's bring everything up top here. Super potions have healed 60 since Sun and Moon, Harsh. Sun and Moon, a change that I really like about Sun and Moon is that they started to kind of space out and increment the healing items a little bit better. So berries are 10, potions are 20. I think fresh water is 30. There's something for basically every increment of 10. So it's much better distributed. Yeah, hypers are 120 instead of 200, which is a good change, frankly. Yeah, I'm okay with the beverages getting nerfed, so to speak, because it adds more granularity to the healing process. You never feel like you're, if you have a wide selection of healing items, you never feel like you're wasting one that does way too much. I can't pet Arbok. There's no Pokemon of me in this game. Yeah, Moo Moo Milk is top tier, for sure. Okay, so I do not use Dig against the guy with Earthquake, right? That's still a thing? Don't do that? Oh. Oh boy. And I already lost some Cane Pun. Yeah, let's go for it. I'm gonna use up all these freaking revives by the time I get to Fuchsia. Yeah, I've done 1.5 playthroughs of Gen 7, I think. Yeah, I beat Sun, I beat Moon, and I got maybe halfway through Ultra Moon. Well, I'm thinking, assuming I still have stream energy after this playthrough is completed, which I think I will. I think Ultra Moon will be the next game I stream. I think that seems like a good task in the lead up to Gen 8. Okay, can we do this? Wow, that was quadruple effective. Concerning. Alright, good. Good luck on the paralysis there, so that's something. Ooh, hello. Let's try biting. This might be a bad idea. Got a lot of things with bite and crunch and other sorts of things, but this thing is level 40. And Gold Vampire there is probably just going to get outsped thanks to the paralysis. Could be tricky. Oh, good. Good. Awesome. I swear if this thing is psychic. No, okay. Seems like, at least so far, most of the trainer Pokemon only have one really, like, killer move. So that's good. I am going to feel the paralysis on Golbam, so Golbam can do a bite crunch thing. Harsh, just FYI, the YouTube chat automatically blocks links. And I need to check them and approve them, and that's a pain in the butt. Big money, no whammies. Whew. Alright. Man, each of these fights is becoming an ordeal. Ooh. I wish this game were more like one of my favorite JRPGs of all time, Final Fantasy XIII, wherein you are healed after every battle completely, and so you can approach each battle as a separate, fresh encounter. And that allows them a lot of flexibility in how to design each individual encounter, because they don't need to really worry about attrition. Well, I still need to check that you're actually linking to the right thing, is the thing. So, to be 100% transparent, Final Fantasy XIII is one of my favorite JRPGs of all time, alongside Final Fantasy XIII-2, Final Fantasy XIII Lightning Returns, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Those are like my 4 favorite JRPGs. They're all deeply flawed games, but they are genuinely my favorite. Like, I don't know, if you follow me on Twitter for a long period of time, especially back when they were still in the process of porting those games to the PC, I would talk quite a bit about how much I love those games. As a character, I think I am more attached to Lightning, partly because I really like her in Lightning Returns. As kind of a straight character to deal with the absolute nonsense of the world around her. But also as a character who's gone through so freaking much. And so the catharsis at the end of that game, I found really, really satisfying. Yeah, here's the thing. I like all of the characters in Final Fantasy XIII. Well, I like all the protagonists, I should say, in Final Fantasy XIII. I was replaying Final Fantasy XIII a while back, and I got to a scene in Palimpolum where, how do I describe it? I'm still a little vague. Hope, like, he needs to have a big damn hero moment, basically, and he, like, flips open the knife, and he's doing this dramatic walk towards the enemy, and it's just so, like, I was like, yeah, you go, little kid, I love it! It's so good! And I was like, I like Hope, the whiny kid who wants to kill another one of the protagonists for an understandable but not particularly good reason. I like that kid. I like all of them. Yeah, another reason that Final Fantasy XIII is good, and a reason that Pokemon series should emulate it. Monsters are on the overworld, and clever avoidance and tactics can help you avoid unnecessary combat. And it gets better in 13 too. Yeah, Saz will always be my favorite. I think Fang comes a close second. In my my first playthrough of 13, my team was Saz, Vanille, and Fang, if I remember right. And now I'm running around with... who was it? Vanille, Fang, and... Lightning? Did I have Vanille on my original team? I don't remember. I definitely had Saz and Fang, though. Yeah, I've tried other Final Fantasy games. I have 8 on Steam. I know 8 is kind of polarizing. I have 10 on the PS4. I have 10 too, I haven't tried it. But 13 has such a good combat system, and people who haven't really gotten into it like to laugh at the combat system in that game. People are like, oh, it just plays itself. No, Final Fantasy 13 has a great combat system once you get 20 hours into the game. Because it's fast-paced, and you're not making individual decisions about what move you want to use, what spell you want to cast. Instead, you are on the fly, sometimes multiple times within the same, like, 5 or 10 second span. You are just switching people between different roles, and you are shifting your strategy based on minute changes in the enemy. It's the most engaging a JRPG combat system has been for me. Bravely Default, I have not played Bravely Default. I hear it's quite similar to, possibly a little bit more complex than, Octopath Traveler. What I found with Octopath Traveler is that they want a lot of the complexity in that game to come from the job system, and, like, you know, having people fulfill different jobs and acquire different skills through, you know, leveling up and whatnot. But all that versatility comes about in the menus between battles. Whereas in Final Fantasy XIII, because of the paradigm system, you are shifting people between roles in the middle of battle. Frequently. Constantly. And shifting between roles in battle is a heck of a lot more engaging for me than planning and experimenting with a job tree system in menus between battles. That's much less interesting to me. I have never played a Kingdom Hearts game other than the original Chain of Memories on Game Boy Advance. Whenever I look at the combat in videos, Norris, it looks clunky, and maybe that's because I'm always watching video from the beginning of the game, but it always looks like whoa, really long follow-up on the end of that Keyblade combo. And then I'll skip forward a little bit, and I'll see them in drive form or whatever the heck it is. And it's faster, and they're flying around the sky, and it's like, this looks like button mashing. And I'm sure there's a lot of depth and complexity to it that I'm not seeing from the video, but it's not sold itself visually to me. Man, this Pidgeotto freaking healing itself is not great. I'm gonna Toxic it. I don't know what Stone Cold ET is. Is that, like, the extraterrestrial, but also Stone Cold Steve Austin? Yeah, and I mean, so take my my impressions of the Kingdom Hearts combat system with several grains of salt. One, because I haven't actually played a Kingdom Hearts game other than the original Chain of Memories, so I've never actually experienced it. And also because I don't particularly care for the combat in Platinum games, which is apparently really deep and intricate and requires a lot of skill, but has never felt rewarding to me. So, like, character action games just have not clicked for me in the past. Yeah, but Harsh, think about it. HD X and Y with the style of Sun and Moon, but on hardware that can actually support it, rather than an ancient dinosaur of a handheld. We're finally seeing what these games are supposed to look like, and have been designed to look like for the past 7 years. Norris, is critical mode something that you would reasonably want to jump into on the first playthrough to try to get the most rewarding experience the first time through, or would that be off-putting? Yeah, here's another controversial gaming opinion. The best combo system in gaming that I've ever seen: Dynasty Warriors. Because it's the first combat system I ever saw that made an ounce of goddamn sense. So, like, most of the time when I see a combo list in a fighting game or a character action game, I see a big, long list of button combinations, and there doesn't seem to be any particular rhyme or reason, and you just kind of have to memorize that, okay, yes, right up, right down, A, B, quarter circle, whatever pulls off this move. Dynasty Warriors, specifically Hyrule Warriors, which is the only one I've played, had a flowchart for its combo. Like, you start with light attacks, you finish with a heavy attack. Based on how many light attacks you did, when you finish with heavy attack, it does a different move. It makes sense. It's like logical. Your brain can contain the information in a framework. And people call Dynasty Warriors button mashy nonsense when it's the first game that ever made sense to me. And you know what, I will say, the new God of War isn't exactly character action, I don't think. I don't think that's technically what it's called, would be considered. But it took some time for the combat in that game to make sense. It eventually did. But it took some time for my brain to kind of comprehend the logic that they were using for that game's controls. Once I kind of realized, okay, light attack, heavy attack, and then you can like hold the trigger and it's light throw, heavy throw. You can press this and it's light special, heavy special. Once I realized that like these other buttons were kind of modifiers to the basic light attack, heavy attack, it made sense. Do not give me a fucking combo list. Yeah, no, I speak as someone who has struggled with character action combo lists, to whom these lists have not made sense. I guess I want to make the distinction that they... I guess it's difference between they don't make sense and they don't make sense to me. Because they do not make sense to me. They seem to just be about memorization rather than a logical framework. Maybe there is some logical framework. Maybe there is a method to the madness. But I have not managed to figure it out. And I would really like to, like, understand them someday. Because apparently there's, like, this whole genre of games that are really good that I have not been able to get into before, and I would love to be able to get into them. Maybe I could give Nier Automata another shot. Because I maintain that game would be a lot more compelling if the gameplay were enjoyable for me. I mean, I literally cannot evolve Gastrodon into Gengar because I don't have Switch Online. My cooking proficiency, I have a set repertoire that I'm pretty alright at, is what I will say. Yeah, Dynasty Warriors. Simple, makes sense. It is accessible. And I really appreciate that. Yeah, Sean, Hyrule Warriors is the Dynasty Warriors game I have played, basically. Yeah, I have no doubt that other people have fantastic, rewarding experiences with these character action games, these complex games. As it stands, I am unable to access this rewarding experience, and I don't feel like the games are doing a good job of allowing me to access it. And so, like, you know, people have talked about this with fighting games, right? How fighting games the actual engaging part of fighting games is not pulling off complicated combos. It's, you know, the spacing, the pacing, the flow of and control of the battlefield. And so when someone made Dive Kick, which is basically ultra simplified fighting game mechanics with combos thrown out the window, it was really well regarded because it allowed people to access this aspect of fighting games that before had been kind of locked behind this barrier of being able to pull off these complex moves. And so I was hoping that the new God of War would be that gateway for me for character action. But it wasn't, because I tried to go back to Nier Automata and it still controlled like shit. Well, it's a dead end, my dude. Yeah, like... So, when I tried to go back to Nier Automata, you know, I looked at the kind of explanation of the combos that the swords had, right? And it was like, 4 light, 2 heavy, 3 light, 1 heavy, whatever. And I spent a fairly good amount of time just out, not even attacking enemies, just trying out these, you know, combos that they had listed out. And it, you know, combo might be even a strong word. It was like, press light attack 3 times, then finish with heavy. And I tried all these different combinations, like, these don't feel meaningfully different. I don't feel like I'm making meaningful decisions when I alter the sequence of buttons that I'm pressing. Whereas in something like Dynasty Warriors, you know, they are absurdly over-the-top moves, easy to pull off, and you can immediately tell, oh, this one is a round AoE, oh, this one is a charge straight forward, oh, this one gathers a whole bunch of enemies into a single point and causes them to explode out. In Nier Automata, I felt like I was just swinging a sword. And so, to bring it back to, again, one of my favorite games of all time, Final Fantasy XIII, you are constantly making informed decisions moving between different combat roles. It's a really engaging system and fast-paced system in that way. I feel like I get out of Final Fantasy XIII what other people get out of character action games. I don't know, maybe sometime I'll try and reinstall Revengeance, which I own on Steam. Because again, that's apparently a very, very good game. And to its credit, I don't think I was on my current computer at the time. I think I was on a kind of a gaming laptop that was on its last legs, so I might not have experienced it in the best way. It's like, it may have been struggling to perform smoothly, and that could have affected my experience. But I would like to get into this genre. But my attempts so far have been unsuccessful. Yeah, and like, again, yeah, absolutely, go for it, Harsh. Post that link. For Nier Automata, I was good enough at the game to beat it all the way through ending E. Like, I beat the game. I was good enough at its systems to win. But I did not master the game. It did not click with me the way that apparently these character action games, especially Platinum games, are supposed to. Because, like, I've heard it said before, like, about Bayonetta, they'll give you a trophy after each fight to tell you how well you did, and the first time you play through, you'll have, like, shit trophies. And the joy comes from playing again and again, get better and better, until you can get triple platinum trophies on every single one, and getting that mastery. But I invested a lot of hours into Nier Automata and never really felt like I got better. And again, really frustrating. Really wanted to like the game. Still want to like the game. Do not. Yeah, I mean, Hedgie, I still hold out hope that maybe someday there will be a click, because God of War clicked. There was, and I think if you go on my Twitter, somewhere out back there, there is a tweet saying, hey, any tips to make the combat in this game not suck? And then eventually it did click. Like, I got the framework for how to control the game, and it clicked. So I hold out hope. BT dubs, if y'all didn't see, Harsh just posted a link to the Datai fan Discord server, which I have given an okay on. It is for the moment, Datai approved. Sith, I don't consciously rub my bald crown, but I do sometimes just find that, oh, my hand is resting on my head. I swear to God, if this thing has roost too. Whew, awesome. Yeah, God of War seems like, thematically, it's a game that resonated with some people a lot more than others. And I think one of the best pieces of writing I've seen on God of War is Tim Rogers on Kotaku. He did a countdown of the best games of 2018, and rightfully, by the way, put Celeste on top of God of War. And he talked about his own personal experiences and how they might resonate with themes of God of War. But it is absolutely a dad game. And not everyone is going to resonate with a dad game. You don't need to be a dad to resonate with a dad game, but not everyone is going to resonate with a dad game. And ultimately, there were still a couple things of God of War that I felt were a little bit sloppy in terms of control. I feel like its parry with the shield was a little bit annoying, that you had to double tap to make it happen. That's not... Double tapping is usually not great for clutch moments like that. And it was overall a little bit slow on the parry also. You had to run up a little bit. It just felt a little bit awkward. But it was... On the whole, I think I started to get an idea of what appealed to people. I just joined the Discord. Seth, are you talking video game prose as in writing for video games or writing about video games? Oh no, now I'm gonna get Discord notification sounds. Yeah, for sure. We've gotten a lot of dad games recently. And part of it is that dads are now making games. People who grew up with games are now dads. Ooh, nice. And like God of War, I enjoyed the story, but it didn't connect with me on a deep emotional level the way Celeste did. Oopsie. You know, I thought the characters were believable and interesting. Oh man, we're on to kind of the last part of the route here, but there's still so many. Still so many trainers. I don't think I'm a tough nut to crack, honestly. Like, I 100% freely say I cried at the end of Fast and the Furious 7. It's a sad movie, man. Oh. And like I think I've gotten easier to crack over time. Back in my teens I was a little bit stoic, but I think I've gotten easier. I teared up a little bit at the end of Storks. Stork's underrated movie. I feel like it just kind of came and went, but I really loved it. I haven't seen this week's episode yet, Norris, but I'm concerned. I have concerns. I'm glad we got an episode this week, though. So that would have been a really hard time to have a 2-week cliffhanger. Yeah, Inside Out was pretty good. I feel like it's an important movie, if not the best movie they've made. I'm glad they made it. It's not my favorite of theirs. So JoJo's... I'm not sure hyper-masculine is the right term for it. Maybe the early seasons, but especially Part 5. And you might check out Jacob Chapman's video essay about this, called Be Gay, Do Crimes. Part 5 especially very effeminate, despite its, overall male cast. No, I have not read the manga. I've read a lot of the wiki. So, like, as best as humans can, I know how King Crimson works. I know a certain character that reappears later. Yeah, and that's a fair distinction, Hedgie, to be sure. But I feel like there's even a distinction between how it presents masculinity in... And, like, Phantom Blood is extremely gay. Vento Ario is extremely gay in a completely different way. So I'm hesitant to paint all of JoJo's with a single brush of masculinity. It still might not be for you. To be completely honest, it wasn't for me until about halfway through part 4. But it's... yeah, JoJo's is many things. This one could be rough, too. Sith, I went to therapy. That's the biggest thing. I went to therapy and became a lot more comfortable with myself. Yeah, so... Haji, I'll be straight up with you. I have not watched Battle Tendency. I've listened to a podcast about it. I haven't not watched Battle Tendency. I have not watched most of Stardust Crusaders. The parts are isolated enough that you don't honestly need to watch all of them. And I would say, you know, people will get angry at me for saying this. I think you can skip to part 4. This is going to be a battle of attrition right here. Yeah, so my story with JoJo's is that, like, the first season that was airing new when it was kind of on my radar was part 4. Diamond is Unbreakable. And I saw discussions about how, hey, this is kind of the most fan-beloved part. Even though Stardust Crusaders is the most iconic, this one is the most beloved. And the... So I got on board when it started, and I watched 19 and a half episodes. I got about halfway through Yukako Yamagishi Dreams of Cinderella, or whatever that episode is called. And I was like, I'm not really totally feeling this. Like, the Italian food episode was pretty fun, but and so I just kind of fell off. And then I learned that the main villain of the part was introduced in the very next episode. So I watched the next episode and was like, oh, this is my shit. This is top tier. And so I, like, binged the second half of the season just in time to catch up and watch the finale as it aired. I gotta go back and heal. Yeah, this is such a long frickin' route. I said at the beginning, I'll say again. And so, like, part 5 is the first season that I've been, like, on board and stayed on board with, despite all my problems with it. Because it does have kind of the tension of the latter part of part 4, but the creativity that was lacking in Stardust Crusaders. Yeah, therapy, like, you know, different things work for different people. The thing to recognize is that if your therapist is not a good match for you, you can get a different one. And that might help a lot. And, you know, like, I was in therapy for 1 school year. And I think I got what I needed. Yeah, part 5, I don't know about better stands, but more creative stands, definitely. Because, again, if you've followed me on Twitter, I've complained about some of the stands in part 5. Mostly Jarnos. Golden Experience is so bullshit. It's so not good. Like, so I listened to a JoJo's podcast called JoJo's World, and they just started part 5. And I'm excited to see how one of the co-hosts responds, the one who hasn't seen the show, responds to all the bullshit that Golden Experience gets up to. Yeah, therapy doesn't, you know, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But, you know, I think everyone could benefit from trying it. And, you know, I'm biased. I'm the son of a therapist. So I got, you know, a lot of direct and indirect exposure to therapy and whatnot. But yeah, I would say, you know, if nothing else, part of the utility of therapy is having someone to talk to. And if you know, get that from talking to friends, if you can talk to friends, great. You are getting that utility from another place. Some people, due to certain social pressures, don't feel comfortable talking about certain things with their friends, so a therapist is really useful. So, like, I went to therapy because I was suffering from heartbreak, and I was embarrassed about it because I felt like I was in the wrong. And I couldn't really talk to my friends about it because they were all friends with the person who was at the center of it. So I went to therapy. And by the end of it, I was, you know, living a much better life, for sure. But, like, in high school, my mom, you know, had me chat with a therapist once, you know, to get her perspective on if, you know, she thought I could benefit from therapy. Because my mom was kind of worried about, you know, do I deal with anxiety, blah, blah, blah. And I was fine at the time. And then circumstances arose where it was something that was useful to me, so. I'm glad I haven't evolved some King Pun yet. Because otherwise, this water stuff would be a lot more difficult. Still don't love that, though. I hope this doesn't turn into another Heart Gold versus Crystal, where Toxic is the solution to everything. Because that's pretty boring to watch. Man, Snack has not gotten many levels here. So to put Sith's advice into more concrete terms, imagine the person, and assuming you don't have a scat fetish, which, I mean, if you do, more power to you, imagine that person having diarrhea. Tear away that image of perfection in the most grotesque way possible. Like, that is legit advice I've gotten. How well did it work? I don't know. I went to therapy instead. Man, I've already lost half my team. Ugh. That's rough. I feel like I could really use a rock type, but I don't think there are any poison rock types. Are there any at all in the entire national decks? I don't even know. I have a couple hyper potions. Just imagine diarrhea all the time. That's my advice for most life situations. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. Alright. Some King Pun. Goodness gracious. I'm genuinely wiping. I came into this battle fresh. Speaking of wiping, diarrhea. Last ditch effort. No, this is just an overall buff. That's not going to be helpful. Yeah. Well, let's restock on items for one thing. Does anyone want to bop on over to Bulbapedia and see what the levels on Cycling Road look like? While I buy some items. So we're getting up to like level 40 here on the trainers. Snake's fallen behind. I'm maxed out at like 35, I think. There we go. 35s to 41s on Cycling Road. See, here's the thing. I hate leaving a route unfinished. So I could, you know, I could go over to the beginning of Cycling Road, fight some more 35s and build up levels. But I don't want to do that. That feels sick and wrong. I think we can walk past that one trainer, fight a couple others above her. Having a tentacle probably could help too. It's pretty defensively alright, right? That's cruel and unusual, Sith. Don't pull people's noses. It's rude. What do the Pokemon themselves look like on Cycling Road? Because I have in my mind that they're mostly poison, which should give some King Pun and Dora Jr. a lot to do with Dig, and Gastrodon with Psychic. But it seems like there's some curveballs thrown in for this game, so. Bird Keepers, that's what those trainers are called. Yeah. Okay, I've seen a variety of types. Alright. Speaking of things you'll probably find on Cycling Road. I think we might want to do some bait and switch stuff here. I don't have Roost, I have potions, which are better than Roost. Not a one-shot. Okay, I gotta hold on to my Psychics. Don't want to use all of them up here. Maybe I should put Gastrodon up front. Maybe I should actually try to lead with the things I'm gonna try to win with. Snack will get some residual experience. Almost said a religious experience. I mean, that's relatable, Sith, right? We've all been there. I mean, Beedrill... whatever the heck Beedrill's nickname was. I know it was Barry B... whatever the name of the B in B movie is in the daycare, and has probably gained some levels. Probably not enough, though. Alright, let's keep this up. Well, Sith, define junk food. What's your definition? Because I eat cookies. I technically haven't caught a Venomoth yet, but... oh, man. I don't particularly feel the need to do so. I do not drink Red Bull. Don't say such slanderous things about me. I bought Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies today because Girl Scout season is upon us. Alright, 36. First one to get 36 there. I can't believe you would slander mint like this, Norris. Thin mints are my favorite kind of Girl Scout cookie. I know people have very strong opinions about Girl Scout cookies. I'll admit I have not tried all of them. But Soul Light, that is unnerving. That is that's a lot of Red Bull. Yeah, no, the beverages that I consume include, but are not limited to, water, milk. The closest thing to a junk beverage I drink that is non-alcoholic is, it's a not Gatorade. Ooh, that's super effective. You know, it's a flavored coconut water. Avoids the high fructose corn syrup, but still probably has plenty of sugar. I only buy my Girl Scout cookies directly from the source to ensure that I get the highest quality product. Oh, I do drink beer, for sure. I had some beer earlier today, actually. I was at a small infant child shower. We had a competition, we had a taboo word. We were not allowed to say a particular word pertaining to the creatures that would soon be spawned from the body of the mother. And I won. I did not say the word, and I called out the most people who did. Coffee I don't drink because I don't want to become dependent on it. You know, caffeine is a literally addictive substance, and I don't want to spend money, you know, periodically on something that, you know, people who drink coffee still feel like crap in the morning and still get tired and complain about how little sleep they get. They just also drink coffee. Soda I avoid generally because of high fructose corn syrup and just general concentration of sugar. Tea, occasionally I'll have like a throat coat or something if I have a sore throat. But it's just, again, caffeine, and yeah, just never really felt the urge to go for tea. Howdy, Insanity. Good to see you. Yeah, so, I mean, I like the smell of coffee. I like when I'm walking by the coffee section in the grocery store, I like to take a deep whiff, a deep smell. But I don't drink it. Ah, so close. Alrighty, so we made it through those 5, right? So now we still got that lady who I'm just going to walk around for now, I think. I might be able to actually get to the Pokemon Center in Fuchsia by dexterously avoiding some folks, and then I'll be able to go back and fight the folks I skipped. I think I'm going to do that. Warm water. I've not really tried warm water, I will confess. Usually I go for lukewarm, room temperature. Whatever the temperature of that room happens to be. Whew. Alright, I think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna do it. So, where does the warm aspect of the water come from? Why do people go for warm water rather than say tea? Because tea is one thing. Tea has flavor and other potentially useful aspects to it. But warm water, not so much. Also, I couldn't imagine trying to drink tea while people are cutting my hair. That seems like a recipe for disaster. Nice, nice. I can deal with a 2-shot with this level differential. Okay, that makes more sense. Waiting for your turn makes more sense. That did not occur to me. I haven't been to a barber shop in years, okay? Give me a break. Oh, fuck yeah, Sea King. How long has it been since I've been to a barber shop? I think this will be like 7 years or something. Yeah, it'll be like 7 years this June, probably. Yeah, I trim my head hair every, whoopsie, hello. Every week or two. I try to do it weekly. I don't always manage to do it. Sometimes I just buzz it with the closest setting on the clippers. Sometimes I actually use my, I think it's called like a pit bull head trimmer shaver thing. Can anyone learn surf? Nope. Alright. Fuchsia. Anything up here? Oh. Nope. I have not done that. I guess when we're ready to face Koga, we'll also be able to grab that. Whatever it is. Okay, drinking a glass of warm water in the morning helps kickstart the digestive system. I mean, it sounds reasonable. I don't know much about the digestive system. Hot warm water, because of temperature, aids blood flow. As your blood circulation increases, it helps detoxify your body and reduce painful contractions of muscles. Sore throat, warm water makes sense to me. Menstrual cramps, haven't had them, couldn't speak to it. Cold water slows down organ function and causes muscles to contract. It seems like there would be potential uses for cold water as well in this kind of framework of thinking. But who knows? In terms of like kickstarting your digestive system, is that a thing you want to like make you hungry for breakfast, or what? So imagine a lot of people in at least the hustle bustle world of the United States would not want their digestive system to be like saying hello in the morning and just want to kind of get on with their work and eat lunch later. I am currently drinking water, by the way. I would call it medium cool. Some rough hits here. Real rough hits. You hear? Is it really Dora Jr. going to be the best defense here? Whoops, I meant to switch over to Dora Jr. Oh well. See if we can fit in a Thunderbolt. Oh! That's a good... Well, so Surf is not actually how you go on the waves in this game. Instead, you have to go into this... Do you go in the Safari Zone? I don't remember. No. But you need to learn... You need to teach Eevee to ride a surfboard or whatever. It might be worth starting the next session getting a Tentacool. That might be a good idea. Ooh, nice, Dora Jr. Okay, yeah, boiling water to make it clean makes sense. Quite logical. I forget how involved getting Splishy Splashy or whatever the frickin' move is called in this game. Good lord. I forget how involved getting the ability to ride on water is in this game. Forget if it's a pain in the butt or what. Is it Splishy Splashy? Concerned I'm mixing it up with a Dungeons and Dragons in joke. Maybe I should Toxic him. I really don't want to rely on Toxic for everything. Seems tremendously uninteresting. But it might be the way to go for some of these tougher battles. Oh boy, and actually now we get to deal with the absurd geography of Fuchsia City, in which you have to take the long way around to the Pokemon Center every time for no good reason. Not what I wanted. Also not what I wanted. There we go. Only Mono Poison Pokemon would mean not evolving the Nidos into their final forms. It would mean muck and coughing. It would mean Snack would still be here. I feel like it would just be a lot less interesting. Free tea everywhere. That is definitely not a thing in my neck of the woods. But we won! Yay, Bellary! Ooh, Bellary's getting real close to Poison Jab. And then we'll be able to evolve Bellary into a Victory Bell. Maybe that'll be the cap-off to this session. We haven't used Bellary much this session, to be perfectly honest, after being such a devastating force early on. I think it's just been the abundance of stuff that is good against grass in this session. I think the one thing that's really holding me back a little bit is the fact that pretty much everything outspeeds me now. Part of that is the level difference. Part of that is not getting any speed candies. Or not feeding any speed candies, at least. So a lot of things will get hits in on me, even if I'm like two-shotting them. Luckily, Gastrodon is still quite quick. Ooh, nice. Okay, cool. Slowly but surely here, getting rid of these Growlithe. Can't wait till Earthquake. It's gonna be so good. Ooh, that was a critical. Not happy that it was a critical, but good to see the non-critical will not KO. At least your crunch. Outrage? What are you doing with Outrage? Who thought that was a good idea? Oh wow, Dora Jr. outsped. That's awesome. potion. So we've got that ace trainer up there. There's Tauros. We got a couple more punks here, and we got that one lady who swept our entire team. We'll kind of wait for her probably until a bit later. Hey, I know what that is. That's a Charbok. Yeah, so I mean, my experience living in Washington is Seattle and the Seattle metro area. And Seattle, obviously heavily gentrified. It's gonna look a fair bit nicer than some other places in the state. Still has a significant homeless population. I have heard, anecdotally, that of places to be homeless, Seattle is one of the better ones. Nice. He does look like Sydney, that's true. That's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, I like Seattle quite a bit. I'm biased. I grew up here. But it's treated me well. Can't speak for everyone. Oh man, if only Gastrodon were still up. In fact, that might be the best way to approach that. I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, apparently, I haven't followed super closely. I hear that Seattle rent prices are actually going down. They're still obviously not comparable to, you know, various other cities. It is still Seattle. But I think the housing market is actually getting a little bit cheaper in Seattle now. Yeah, I've got a pretty good deal on rent here. I'm sharing house with 2 other folks, and I am a fair ways away from Seattle proper. So, yeah, hell of a lot better than San Francisco or LA or anything. I'm only paying slightly more than I did back in Portland. Dora Jr. can do this. Okay, we're gonna finish up all the non-Ace Trainer stuff here. And then I think we're gonna call it a session. So I think we got one more guy after this, possibly. We're getting some levels. Sneck seems to be kind of hanging behind there, and that's unfortunate. Yeah, New York is absurd. New York is ridiculous. I have not caught the 50 Pokemon for Koga. I think what we're going to do, we're going to finish up this route. Probably next session hop over to Cycling Road, or we'll make sure we can grab Tentacool. And then next session we'll head over to Cycling Road, do the levels there. We do need to fight Erica still. So I think we'll fight Erica as well. And then depending on how our levels look, we'll either Oh, we could do Sylph before we do Sabrina, huh? There's a lot of stuff we can do before we try to fight either of them. It kind of depends on how difficult things are feeling. Because I want to put off catching those Pokemon as long as possible. Yeah, Sneck was doing really awesome last session, but they've been stuck at, you know, in the real low levels here. I don't know what's up. Okay. That trainer we're not fighting right now. That trainer we're not fighting right now. How close is Valerie to leveling up? Oh, still a ways. Okay. Yeah, so those two fights wouldn't do it. Okay, so that's going to wrap up this session, I think. Let us head... We fought her, right? Yeah. Let us head to the Pokemon Center, heal up in the next episode. In the next episode, let's start with fighting... no, let's start with getting ourselves a Tentacool. Then fight Erica. Then do Cycling Road. Sounds like a plan. Still be thinking about Tentacool names. We do want to have an excellent Tentacool name. I think next episode we'll probably get ourselves a Victory Bell. It's possible we'll get Nidoqueen and Nidoking. We might be approaching another kind of power bump. We'll see. But, anywho, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.